Oh, resolution seven.
Yeah, not repeating.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. We would like to begin by acknowledging that we are gathered on the traditional lands of the Three Fires Confederacy, the Ojibwe, Odawa, and Potawatomi peoples of the Minnesota. We recognize and deeply appreciate the stewardship and historic connection to this place, and recognize that we must do more to learn about its rich history so that we will better understand our role as residents, neighbors, partners, and caretakers. Okay, so no opening our declarations. So the first thing tonight is strong mayor powers review.
Yes, if anyone has a conflict, they can declare it now.
Right. Okay. If anyone has conflict, they may declare it now at the time it arises.
So in your package, I included the nicest summary I found on the strong mayors. Power. It's actually something I'm getting a lot of questions on, and it was something that was certainly discussed at the phenom. And certainly something that's just come to the island for any municipality with a council of more than 5 members. Nobody seems to be jumping up and down about it, and there are some things that are pretty bizarre in it. I think it's 219 out of the 444 municipalities in the province now have access to it. I can't imagine when we will get that power, but I think we're going to have to get it at some time, because you can't have that separation going. Particularly with the section where you can actually carry a vote with less than the majority of council. But from what I'm hearing, nobody's really interested in following it long term. But I'm just putting this out there so you've got something that you can discuss if you do get questions about it.
So it currently is for municipalities that have 5 or more councillors,
6, but more than 5.
more than 5.
Yes, 5 is the minimum. So it's either 5, 7, or going beyond that. And municipalities given that power on the Manitoulin have councils of more than 5 members.
I believe we have 3 on the island right now. Is there any questions anybody wants to ask on that?
It's not applicable to us at the moment,
No,
directly to us.
no, it's not.
But it's a good information, please.
Mhm. Yeah, it's nice to understand like what it actually means.
But I agree with Alvin's comment about not being able to pass a motion without a quorum. For example, we need a quorum to pass a motion.
Mhm.
It's a fair process.
That's right. That's how I feel too. People elect us and we should have, the majority makes the rules. I don't think a mayor should have that authority to step in at that point, but. Never know, may happen.
Is it forced on the municipalities or can they opt out?
They can opt out. Yeah, from what I understand, they can opt in or out depending on what the issue is. If there's an issue that fits within those powers, the mayor can use that and then revert back to everything else brings that.
Okay, good information for us then. We have an announcement and, think an invitation to the Manitoulin Treaties, the gathering. I believe it's on the 21st to the 23rd.
You got it by email, so
We did.
Okay.
Yeah. I hope some people are going to be able to, take part in this. I will be part of it.
I think I'll go down to the sunrise ceremony.
Yeah.
What time, what day is it?
I believe it's on the 21st, the first day,
Is it?
and also I think there'll be quite a few people there, which is gonna be lovely for the community.
Yeah, double check your email
Yeah, because you.
for the invitation, or, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, there's a lot more, information on it.
the 21st to the 23rd, so.
Right. I thought the 21st was just an evening one, so I'm gonna go home and double check mine.
Yeah, I'll double check
Yeah.
it, but I'll go before work.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'd like to go down to the sunrise. ceremony.
Yeah, we-
did that
Yeah,
last year.
that was
Lovely
lovely.
work.
Yeah, that was really
Yeah.
beautiful.
And super educational.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And it's nice if we can show up too, with support. Okay. Sandy Point subdivision,
So in your package, there's email from our solicitor, saying everything is fine and instructing council that all, council has to do is, send notice to the developer's solicitor that the draft conditions, 5 to 11 have been satisfied, and to let the planning board know that that's been done.
right,
So,
I don't understand why this is we had decided this months ago and had talked about it and everything was done. I don't understand why it's back to us.
well, because we need a resolution.
We didn't do a resolution last time? I thought we
You
did.
asked the solicitor to do a review, we did not pass a resolution.
Direction to the solicitor, yeah.
right.
So now this is the report from the solicitor, and we can do a resolution.
So I'm personally in favor of moving forward with it.
Absolutely.
Yes.
I thought we already did.
Who was the second?
Don't
I
make a second.
Not for this one?
No.
It's okay.
Do you want me to read it, please?
Be it resolved that if council moves forward with direction as per solicitor's notice regarding conditions 5 through 11 for Sandy Point subdivision.
Okay, all those in favor then? Okay. Then we have our customer service policy review. This is new. So is there any discussion on this? I think it's very well done, but
No, I like it. It's very well done. I think they're very well itemized for sure. The only other thing I had under unacceptable behavior, should we add in there the amount of time that staff take get accosted at the grocery store or in town? Is there any way of adding in there that that's not gonna be tolerable? Or complaints to personal cell phones and all that type of stuff? Or are we stretching the intention of that?
I think it's gonna be hard to. I mean, we can put a statement in that we're opposed to it, but other than that, I don't think there's gonna be much we can do.
It just seems that that's one of the most of the concerns that we have from our staff is that they get
Yes.
the complaints from staff and we want people to be directed to the office, so.
During office hours.
You do have the support material with us, your customer feedback form, and you have it in there. That's the procedure that they're supposed to follow for that. So you're not supposed to accost someone in the grocery store and complain to them there. You could pull direction and just cite where it says that or alludes to that within that.
It'll form part of this policy, yeah. okay.
Yeah.
That's good.
I think maybe if staff realizes that we have this policy too, and they understand it, they can maybe use policy and say, you know, this isn't really the time or place to talk about this. I'm gonna direct you to the office.
Well, it's nice to have a cut, clear
Yeah,
Mhm.
process and available on the website and people can be directed to it.
yeah,
I think it's really challenging too with the personal cell phone things and people, texting, oh, I'm just gonna text, whichever staff member and say this or do that. It's really tempting because we all know each other, the majority of us know each other, and if you have somebody's personal cell phone, but it crosses a line and it doesn't matter what profession you're in. I have people who text message me about their parcels on the weekend and that sort of thing as well. And it's up to us, if we have a personal phone and we do not want to be contacted on it, then we need to be able to say, hey, this is my personal cell phone. I'm gonna direct you to contact, here's the office number, please feel free to call on Monday morning and chat about it.
As long as staff know that we support them in doing that.
Absolutely.
So that they're not feeling that
Absolutely,
they're being disrespectful to somebody.
right.
no,
And I agree with what Jen said, because whether it was Canada Post or BMO, it's the nature of the beast. When you know somebody personally and you know that they might be able to have an answer for you, you might feel like you can reach out. But when work is done, work is done. That's the bottom line, whether you're in the office here or any other office, and like Jen said, if you choose to give your cell phone, that's on you. If somebody has your cell phone and you don't want to answer that text, you know what? I'm working Monday at 8 o'clock. Feel free to reach out to me.
Mhm.
I think it's really challenging in today's world. We have that phone, everybody knows we have a phone and they feel like they can reach out at any point in time, but people have the right to their privacy. And I fully support staff sending a message back saying, thank you for expressing your concern. However, this is my personal cell phone. Please contact the office between
Yeah.
8 and 5, Monday
Agreed.
through
Mhm.
Friday. It's
Agreed.
not staff's place to have to put up with anything if they're off on the weekend.
Or holidays or.
Yeah,
Or
for
whatever,
sure.
when they're not in the
I mean,
office.
if it's a dire emergency, the township office is on fire, that sort of thing.
Call 911.
Call
Yeah.
911. Yes.
Yeah. Agreed.
Do I need a motion for this? To accept this or?
Thank you for the work on this. It was really good.
Should we have a resolution just to?
Would somebody like to make that motion? Everybody?
Everybody. Sure. It's very detailed.
Think of what it was called.
Customer service policy.
Cool.
Be resolved that the customer service policy is adopted as presented.
All those in favor? Okay, cleanup week.
We'd like to suggest the week of June 3rd to 10th, for cleanup week. And we found this is the best presentation summary of what we do. So we'd like your approval to start advertising for it.
Okay, discussion on that?
I agree wholeheartedly, and I'm happy to see that we're going to be doing pickups again like we used to.
Mhm.
The only thing I have to say, I think we decided last year, I might be wrong, but that we didn't need the dump open 5 days from 10 to 8.
I think we.
I
did
think we
modify
found that, I think we found that excessive.
I think our landfill attendant was gonna provide us with numbers of attendance on days, and I think he did
He did. Yes, I
from last
forget
year.
what they
That
said,
have
but
come to council yet. So we should review them.
Good. I agree. Clarify the hours with the landfill site attendant and we'll move on with that, but
yeah,
this platform to me is a good platform.
okay,
I agree.
yeah. You good with
Yeah.
that?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So we need a motion for that too, I think.
Do we know when the hazardous waste in Minnemoya is going to be this year?
Oh, it's in July usually.
It's usually the second Saturday in July, but we haven't been officially notified
Okay.
yet.
Yeah, to make sure that if maybe we could find that out before we send this out, because when we're saying what's not allowed, some of that's on that hazardous list. To make sure people are aware these items can be brought at this date to Minnemoya. And I don't think people understand that hazardous waste thing either,
Mhm,
right? The time sharing of it.
Yes.
right,
Excellent idea.
yeah.
Okay.
Okay, can I have somebody move that? Rob.
Second.
Be resolved that June 3rd through June 10th is declared cleanup week.
Can that we follow?
Oh, well, that as well. Okay.
I think so.
Did we advertise?
You will.
Yeah,
And the advertising is approved.
all those in favor? Good. Okay. The Phenom report, I have a bit of a report for you, and then I'll ask Alton and Jen if they want to add anything to it, but it was a very good, very informative and well-done conference. The keynote speaker, gave us an update on unlocking the power of AI. And she went into great depths with it and encouraged us to use it to benefit our township. Then George, I think it's pronounced Couchet, gave a moving talk on Indigenous cultural mindfulness. He reminded us that everyone has a story they're dealing with and that not to prejudge individuals. And it was a great presentation. Oscar Poloni, he works for
KPMG.
KPMG. He's an accountant. He walked us through the Orange County insolvency in California, warned us of the pitfalls of not increasing our tax levy to the inflation every year, or trying to use reserves to avoid tax increases. And it sneaks up on a municipality very, very quickly, and then you find yourself in a mess. So that was a really interesting one. There was also an extremely interesting session on tourism industry of Ontario. And that is found on the Phenom website. If you go there right now, you can look at that too. So I'm gonna have that one printed off because I found that really good. The trade show was very good, and I made contact with AMO, Hydro, Greg Mighty's project. I was able to speak with our MPAC contact person. And I have made arrangements for him to come and do a training session with us. And then he will come back to an open council meeting and make another presentation. And then this will give the public an update as to what they are doing as far as assessments and stuff go. So the training session, I haven't talked to him in depth as to how long it takes, but I'm hoping it'll be an evening. So it'll be a good one to take part in. And then they made a few on what the actual board is looking at this year. They are going to ask that the membership of Phenom ask the Minister of Health that have an equal role in discussions concerning the funding review of public health mandated programs. And then you're also looking at they're asking the Ontario government to commit to phasing in 100 million policing grant over the next 3 years for the Northern Ontario communities. And then to receive a base amount for every year after that. See if that happens or not. That'd be nice. They also are going to be asking the ministries to commit undertaking with the Association of Municipalities of Ontario to do a comprehensive social and economic prosperity review to promote stability and sustainability of municipal finances across Ontario. And I think the last one was that they're going to ask the Ontario government this one's about the blue box. So that the producers are responsible for the end of life management of recycling products from all sources, including industrial, commercial, and institutional properties. I guess right now they're not, just residential. Yeah, and then they're going to ask the premier to either appoint a deputy minister of transportation for Northern Ontario or create an associate minister responsible for Northern Ontario transportation. When they're talking about opening up the Ring of Fire and all the trucks and transportation that will be on the road, they think it's necessary to have our own minister of transport. So that was in a nutshell what I got from it. Do you have anything, Jen?
No, I found it interesting. I always find it interesting. And this year, probably because I'm in my third year now, so I kind of have more of a feel for what's going on. I really enjoyed the bear pit. Lots of great questions. It's always interesting to see what other township mayors, their questions or the concerns or other council members. The Ring of Fire, of course, Bill C5 is incredibly important because it does remove a lot of the environmental protections that we have, and I think it significantly impacts all of Ontario, but Manitoulin, because we do have such a diverse environment here, we really need to be paying attention to what these do, although there is an economic balance to that. So it was really interesting just to watch all the conversation about it and, and the roads, especially because if more is funneled that direction, are we gonna get enough to fix the bridge? Are they going to be replacing the bridge? Those sorts of things, will they pull that project based on that? So I think there's lots of questions there, and it was really interesting to talk to a lot of different counselors. Always educational, for sure, and the tourism guy was really, really good.
Mhm.
Lots of great information on that, and different ways that people are reinvesting tourism dollars.
Mhm. That one was really interesting.
It was very, very interesting.
I loved his opening statement because it was, if you build a place where people want to visit or love to visit, people will want to live there.
That's right.
And if people want to live there, they will need to work there. And this is how you grow your community. So it was really interesting, his whole presentation. It was really good.
Yeah, the whole thing was really well done. All
Yeah.
the speakers were really good this year.
They were,
Yes, not that they weren't other years.
yeah, but they were exceptionally good this
It
year.
was.
Do you have anything else?
109 member municipalities of Phenom, it's almost 25% of the entire province. I'm not a politician, and I know probably only about 10% of the attendees were municipal staff. So we don't participate the same way the politicians do. I'd be glad to tell you my personal thoughts away from the table. But I do think the US situation has both levels of government, particularly the provincial level, still in a state of turmoil.
Mhm.
So it's really, they're reluctant to commit to policies right now until they've got that straightened away. But I don't think there's any argument that they understand the severity of what it is they're dealing with. And how any comment made on CNN or Fox News on Monday can have an effect on our economy by Tuesday. They're aware of that, and it's just sorting through it day by day.
If I may, I totally agree with you. And I think a lot of the conversation about, Northern Ontario being such a strong area to really grow our economy in Ontario and really taking hold of that and recognizing the power that we have with all of the natural resources and those sorts of things. The forestry, conversation about the quality of the trees in Ontario. And it's really interesting. And I think, people would think it's really not listening to a bunch of people talk about the economy, but it really is totally worth going, so.
Even the discussion on the nuclear waste,
Mhm.
transportation and whatnot, I mean, how incredibly detailed and thought out that's been over the last 20 years and that, my thought when they were talking about it was that, none of us are gonna probably, like, if we're alive, we're gonna be in a nursing home before we get to the stage where they're actually doing it. But they've been discussing it for so long that, it just happens behind the scenes
And
all the time.
it's
Yeah.
incredible when you see the presentations from the nuclear waste guy and, cause when we think of it, we have to think of it in the abstract. So when you're seeing it right there and you're seeing the pictures and you're seeing how they plan it, and it really is incredible.
And when you think that, like, it's still 20 years basically to build what they need to build,
Mhm.
and then they'll be hauling for 50 years of this nuclear waste. To know that, or to understand that they know like what 70 years in advance, like how they're still going to be working is, and it's taken them probably 20 years to get to this point, so.
And the depth of those things, because the transportation and the infrastructure, if you're gonna be bringing it to Northern Ontario to have the trucks and how they're gonna haul it, and it's lots of good and lots of negative things, but
Yeah,
interesting.
yeah, it was a good conference. Well, we're going. Okay, that's it. We're going into a closed session now.